Tuesday, December 6th, 2016, and this is a quick look at Steve Olson's latest video along with Wayne Steiger, WSO December 5th review of censored Secchi plus big rotating orb seen over Missouri. So we're going to have a quick look at the first part of this video, the big rotating orb seen over Missouri. Well, I'm not sure anybody actually saw it over Missouri, but we're going to have a look at the beginning of this video. Now this video is over 30 minutes long, so we're just going to look at the very first part of it because I'm sure I can unpack a whole lot more out of this video. Let's take a quick listen to what Steve Olson and Wayne Steiger have to present.
Hi everybody, it's Steve Olson and Wayne Steiger. It's December 5th, 2016, and wow, Wayne, check out this Moonglow Observatory image that we have from earlier today. As you can see, it was a few minutes ago, but the thing I wanted to point out was this rotating orb that we see in the north as you're looking up from, from Missouri.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, I'm going to go out and look up myself and see before it gets too cloudy here. That's really odd.
It's odd, and there's two things I think about when I look at it. One, there's this blue orb here. Could it be a refraction of this orb, right? Which would put it in somewhere right up over the top of Moonglow. But check out how it manifests in this view. See that out rotating?
Yeah.
That's not a lens flare. Lens flares can't rotate, can they, Wayne? Or maybe I'm not.
I guess it depends on which reality you're in.
Right.
I guess it depends on which reality you're in. Indeed. We note that these images start off cycling through from 1241 CST. Well, I've mentioned in a previous video that I've been using this sequence downloader, this one here. So I'm able to download the latest images from the all-sky cameras and save them as a complete sequence. And we're going to take a look at those images now, starting from the first image in this sequence seen in Steve Olson's video. Let's take a look. So here is the same image from 1241 CST on December 5th, 2016, and we can see the same orb. Now, let me just back this up a little bit, and we're going to use that vertical line, this one here, which again we've looked at in previous videos. This vertical line is a result of the image sensor overloading due to the bright light source, in this case being the sun, causing the charge on the image sensor to spill out onto the column of pixels above and below it. Now we can use this line as a handy marker to show us that the line from the sun to the orb is a straight line, and on that straight line we've also got these other little orbs as well, which of course indicates that this is a lens flare. But let's not just take my word for it here, let's progress these images forward again. So now we're back to 1241, which is where we started, and I'm going to advance this on further than what we saw in Steve Olson's short video of 6 images, which is about all you ever see from the all-sky cameras in any one session. This is why I'm using the sequence downloader to save all of the images to give us a complete sequence to tell the full story instead of just 6 images. But you'll notice that if we draw a straight line again between the sun out to this orb, then we again have this array of lens flares. Let's progress this on further, and you'll notice that the sun is getting closer to the horizon. We can still see the orb. And by the way, this orb would be massive. It would be several times larger than the size of the full moon in the sky. Now, at times it's getting harder to see because of the presence of cloud, but we can still clearly see the orb here, and the sun is getting ever closer to the horizon. We can still see the orb there, and now we can see that the sun is almost on the horizon. I can just see the orb here in front of the cloud. We can still see it. And there it is again. We've got a patch of fairly clear sky, so we can still see it. And nice clear shot of it there. Still there. And as soon as the sun is obscured enough, it's all but gone over the horizon. Where is the orb? It's gone. We can no longer see it. Let me just back that up again. And we notice too that just before it disappears from view, we still have these little orbs here. Once again, in a straight line from the sun out to the orb, which proves that it is indeed a lens flare. But let's carry on, and now that the sun is set, as it gets darker, we see the moon come into view. Now, the camera is not overexposed here because the sky is still quite light. So this is actually showing us the actual size of the moon without it being overexposed. The angular size of the moon is half of 1 degree if you were to measure its angular diameter. Compare this tiny little spot to the huge orb that we saw in the sky. Let me back that up. Obviously this orb would be massive in the sky. It would be many degrees across, and if it was a real object, then obviously it would be very clear for all to see. So, as the sun gets lower over the horizon and the sky darkens, we can see that the camera is overexposing now. It's becoming more sensitive, and the light saturation from the moon makes the moon look a lot bigger as we progress this on. But you can also see the stars. And up here we can see Polaris. So as I step this forward, you can see all of the other stars are rotating around the sky, except Polaris here remains in the same position. And this is Ursa Minor, or the Little Dipper. You can see the two bright stars there are rotating around Polaris. But there's another interesting thing that we pick out here. Now that the camera is very sensitive to compensate for the nighttime scenery so that we can see the stars, we also notice something else. Our rotating orb is back in the nighttime sky now. Now, I don't know if you picked that up before, but let me step this through. And in some of these scenes, you can see it more clearly than others, but that orb is back in the sky, and that, again, is the result of lens flare, this time from the moon. Now, as the moon gets brighter and brighter as we approach full moon over the next week, then this orb is going to get brighter and brighter in the sky. Now, I'm not sure if you're seeing that as well as I am seeing it, but as I say, as we approach full moon, then this orb will get brighter and brighter in the sky. And something else I should point out again is that as we step forward, we notice that all of the stars follow the same direction across the sky as the sun and the moon did. Yet the orb was crossing the sky in the opposite direction. Now, the reason that the stars appear to travel across the sky from east to west is because the Earth is rotating on its axis from west to east, giving us the illusion that the stars are moving across the sky. So for an object to be moving across the sky from west to east in the opposite direction to the stars, then it would obviously have to be moving in low Earth orbit like the International Space Station. And obviously if it was that close, we would all know about it. This is further proof that it is nothing more than a lens flare.
That's not a lens flare. Lens flares can't rotate, can they, Wayne? Or maybe I'm not.
I guess it depends on which reality you're in.
So once again, we see that Steve Olson and his good buddy Wayne Steiger, armchair experts analysing lens flares and saying, well, it depends on what reality you're in. Well, the reality that I live in says that this is a lens flare. It is obviously a lens flare, and to suggest that it is anything else is nothing but nonsense and fear-mongering and trying to get views, as you always do with this nonsense. As always, do check out my Facebook discussion page, Voices of Reason to Explain X, or VORTEX. You'll find a link in the description area. Thank you for watching. Hello YouTube, this is Dazza the Cameraman. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2016, and this is a quick look at Steve Olson's latest video along with Wayne Steiger, WSO December 5th review of censored Secchi plus big rotating orb seen over Missouri. So we're going to have a quick look at the first part of this video, the big rotating orb seen over Missouri. Well, I'm not sure anybody actually saw it over Missouri, but we're going to have a look at the beginning of this video. Now this video is over 30 minutes long, so we're just going to look at the very first part of it because I'm sure I can unpack a whole lot more out of this video. Let's take a quick listen to what Steve Olson and Wayne Steiger have to present.
Hi everybody, it's Steve Olson and Wayne Steiger. It's December 5th, 2016, and wow, Wayne, check out this moon glow observatory image that we have from earlier today. As you can see, it was a few minutes ago, but the thing I wanted to point out was this rotating orb that we see in the north as you're looking up from, from Missouri.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, I'm going to go out and look out myself and see before it gets too cloudy here. That's really odd.
It's odd, and there's two things I think about when I look at it. One, there's this